Hi guys, so I wanted to show you what I am hoping to see from you guys at the SLC. So for the example, I chose to talk about the obtaining, evaluating, communicating information, science and engineering practice. So you guys can choose any of the three. You will ideally talk about one in depth. I don't necessarily need you to talk about all three. The thing that I really want to see is an artifact, and I want you to share that with your parents about what you're working on specifically and how it's connected to the learning that you've been doing. So the artifact that I chose in this case was the PowerPoint presentation that you guys put together and presented in class. So you can actually have the PowerPoint here. So in this example, filling in the sentence starters, I said I've researched safety, and based on the sources, and I listed the three sources as asked. And I got the following pieces of evidence. So you can go through this stuff, and you can also just go ahead and have the presentation kind of speak for itself. So this example I have, so the safety issue, number one, that I'm going to talk about is that violence is a factor of death and injuries. Specifically, 40% of people who are homeless have been assaulted. 21 women that are homeless have been raped, and men are more than 9 times more likely to be murdered. So massive safety issue. And you can see that I also put the resilience deck here, or the resilience card specifically. So why I talked about this, what I would love to see from you guys is to share about the resilience that you're seeing in my class, or maybe you're not seeing and you want to grow toward. So the example that I want to give you is perhaps you say, the resilience that I think I would like to have in the future with this specific issue. I, to be honest, just picked the first thing that I found online. I didn't really search very much time. I was really checking a box because I was supposed to have 4 pieces of evidence and I wanted to get it over with. So in the future, I really, as I care about homelessness and I can see that in class we're trying to do something that's really meaningful to create change, I will do more research and find the best pieces of evidence, and then I'll actually practice to see how can I communicate this pretty vital information to my classmates, because I'm going to present this to everyone else in class, and it's important that I practice this. Even though it's hard and I don't have a lot of time in my time out of class, I need to figure out how I can practice so that I can teach everyone else during the presentation that I'm going to have. So I would love to see you guys specifically focusing on how you're weaving in your habits of heart and mind into the stuff that you're working on in physics class. The next example I'm going to give, so this is again the safety issue number 2, so this is from the PowerPoint presentation. More than half have had things stolen from them while on the street. So here what I was trying to emphasize was that just because people have their possessions in things like a fabric tent or out without any sort of cover at all, they're really unsafe. And my claim again was that people who do not have a home are unsafe. So this supports it. I looked a lot longer for this one, so this is where I wanted to demonstrate showing my best self. So for this one, I was thinking to be able to convince the class of this statistic, it would be easier for me to, instead of talking for a long time, to show a quick clip of this episode of Stolen Belongings. So these are homeless people who are discussing not only people stealing from them, but actually the police stealing from them, and where it makes it really hard to get their things back. And it's a different type of theft, and I would go into more detail of that during the presentation, but I don't need to do that right now. So what I would want you to focus on is that specific piece of showing your best self. The last example I want to give you is elevate your thinking. So in this example, again, I had one more safety issue from my PowerPoint presentation originally, focusing on some more about how it's unsafe for multiple reasons. So this specific reason is that homeless people are more likely to get sick because they're out in the elements. And the elevate your thinking piece, what I would really like to have you share is how you plan on pushing yourself to not just check the box, but when things get hard, how you are going to push yourself to do your very best work. And that might mean more time and less socializing, and what that could look like. So what does elevating your thinking really mean, and what does it look like for you specifically? What does it look like when you're not doing it, and what does it look like when you're really doing it well? So for my example, I do really good work when I'm able to concentrate and focus on my own work and when I'm able to bounce off my ideas. So I think I do my best work when I can talk to a partner and say, like, this is what I think, but how about you research this as well and let me know if you find counter evidence for this. Um, and then perhaps we can kind of share our findings versus when I know that I do really poor quality work is when I didn't sleep well the night before, I didn't eat breakfast, perhaps I didn't eat lunch. So a lot of these behaviors that I've noticed really affect me strongly to not do my best quality work. And my goal would be to really work on those things. I've been working on my sleep habits and eating healthy food for a really long time, and I'd love to see that from you guys as well. So hopefully that helps you figure things out. And again, my biggest goals is that you share one artifact of something that you're working on in my class, one science and engineering practice, and connect that to the habits of heart and mind and how you're going to push yourself the rest of the semester to do your best quality work. Thanks, guys.